afternoon, and welcome to the Purim episode.
Happy Purim, yeah.
Of Jeff and the Rabbi. It's Purim again.
Today's first day of the month of Adar. Purim is on the 14th of Adar. So it's coming up.
Wow. Well, happy Adar.
Thank you, and happy Adar to you. You know, the whole month, once we get into Adar time, it's party time.
I'm a happy guy.
Got to be happy.
It's my birthday. I'm an Adar guy. And I am an Adar guy. So
I'm born under the sign of Adar.
Absolutely. That's my sign.
Yeah.
I wear it around my neck. I got the little Adar sign there.
Yeah, right.
So I'm a happy guy. So we got two competing stories now.
Absolutely.
And I thought, if you don't mind, I was just going to give a quick summary and I get us started here.
Let's hear it. It's an all or nothing competition.
It is all or nothing. Number one, in the right corner here, we've got Mordecai and Esther. Yeah, and I've always been a Mordecai, and I've always rooted for Mordecai and Esther. And the story of, I would say, right, the story of strength, the story of, modesty, the story of changing the world. Mordecai gets up there, he doesn't bow before, the prince walking before him. He realizes there's something going on. Esther, we think maybe his niece, possibly his niece, maybe, goes up there.
Or his wife.
I've heard different stories.
Yeah.
She becomes the queen. She's not seeking it. She's modest. They know the story. All of a sudden, this other guy we'll talk about in a minute, the guy Haman, is going to kill the Jews. Mordecai talks into Esther and, hey, listen, it's your opportunity. You're one shot. Maybe this is what you're born for. This is who you are. Go in there. Save the Jews. She could die. She decides to do it. Takes it. This is a beautiful story. Takes it into her own hands to go before the king, who could execute her, and said, save my people. And she does. And it happens. The king agrees with her, and the Jews win. Story number one. Competing story number two. Haman, great prince of, follower of Amalek, the descendant of Amalek, the great prince of the Persians, the Iranians. He's got all the power. He is really kind of the pinnacle of his life right now. He's built up this power. He tells the king, there's people inside your kingdom that want to kill, that want to destroy you, that want to hurt you. Let me help you fix them. The king, listening to his big advisor, says yes, gives him the signet ring. He goes out and says, I'm now going to kill the Jews. Those people that would not bow down before me, I'm going to kill them. I'll rid the land of the Jews. An amazing story, a story of power. I can't even think who would play him in the movie. I don't know. It could be anybody. This is a powerful role, Haman.
Yeah.
Who's going to win? Now, so we get to the situation.
And Haman, if he wins,
boom,
that's it. Because it's the whole world.
That was it.
It's the whole world they're playing for. That's the playing field is the whole world.
That would have been it for the Jews.
Yeah.
So it's a huge competition. Those are the backstories here. Now, who won?
Well, I'm sure that the judges of reviewing the two stories and taking into account many, many, many features in these two stories.
Yes.
And there is a lot. There's Haman, for his part, is really, really, really gone all out to promote his cause. Haman he's got a long-standing gripe against the Jews. And the truth is, he's got some validity to his gripe, because the Jews, they're this scattered nation. They're inside. They're a nation inside another nation. They're scattered all over the place. They don't seem to follow the same rules and live by the same rules that everyone else does.
No.
And they're just different. They keep different holidays. How can anyone in the Persian Empire, including the king, know that these Jews can be relied upon?
It's true. They keep to themselves. They really have not totally assimilated into the society yet.
Right.
I don't know.
Now, and on top of that, Haman plays the lottery. He does the lotto. In those days, the lotto was really big. And he rolls the dice, and it comes out on a particular day, the 13th of Adar. He is going to destroy the Jews. They're going to be destroyed on the 13th of Adar. And then he is going to be a happy man. And he is going to be the number 2 man in the entire kingdom, right after the king. All he's got to do is get the Jews out of the picture.
And there he is.
Right.
Well, should we see who won?
Well, I think so. Let's just a word for the other side.
Oh, okay.
The other side, leading actress starred by Esther.
Right.
Esther, who everyone falls for Esther.
Well, she came out of nowhere. She started in independent films. She really had nothing going, and she comes out of nowhere.
Her just down home,
Right.
sincere, good looks. Everyone looks at Esther and sees like she's their girl. Everyone just loves and loves Esther. The interesting thing is, though, that Esther's been taken into the palace, and we pretty much have not heard from her since she went into the palace. Nobody knows whatever happened to Esther.
Right.
We would have thought that with our guy or gal in the palace, maybe things would have gone well for the Jews, but Esther's laying really low. As a matter of fact, although many people know that Esther's Jewish, Esther has not let on to anyone in the palace that she is Jewish.
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
the question is, will Esther be able to thwart the machinations? Esther, the simple, pure, down-home girl, being held literally against her will, as in bondage by the king Ahasuerus, will she be able to thwart the power of the powerful, devious, and hateful Haman?
You know what? That right there, I think that's the whole story. Can she do it?
Can she do it? And it just so happens that we're going to find out because the vote is in.
Hold on one second. Wait, I think I have the envelopes right beside me now.
You've got the answer.
I have the envelopes here.
And I don't know the answer yet, but it's in that envelope.
Rabbi Friedman, can you read the envelope, please, and tell us, will it be Haman or will it be Esther?
Wow, well, let's open it up. And it says that the winner
The winner is?
of the Persian sweepstakes is none other than Haman.
Haman. Oh,
Haman.
that's a surprise. That is
The
huge.
Jews are going to be destroyed.
Oh, my God. I can't believe that happened.
Haman, he's the man.
Wow.
Haman is going to win.
Oh.
Goodbye, Jews.
That's the
We
end.
have a Jewish free world.
Wow.
Brought to you by Haman. All hail Haman.
There's
He's
going to be
the
so
man.
many happy people out there now.
And tons and tons and tons.
Wow.
And it's all going to take place on the 13th of Adar. All the Jews around the world are going to be annihilated. This is fantastic. Haman is the absolute winner.
Wow,
Haman's
it's
the
John
most powerful
Perry out there.
guy.
He's happy. They're all happy. Look, everybody's
He's
cheering. Woo.
dancing. The whole UN.
Wait.
This is
Wait.
better than any
Hold on.
resolution.
What now?
Haman is the man.
No.
Such congratulations
Hold
to
on.
Haman.
Hold on. Wait.
Haman is Haman.
Robert Freeman, hold on.
Haman.
Oh,
It's about Haman,
hold
right?
on. Another envelope. I think I handed you the wrong envelope.
How can it be a wrong?
Uh,
I mean, I read it said Haman here.
Hold on one second. You might want to read this envelope. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well,
This is kind of embarrassing here.
the winner of the sweepstakes, the Persian sweepstakes, is actually Esther.
Esther! Oh,
Esther wins.
Haman, I'm sorry.
Won.
Oh,
sorry, guys.
we're going to
Sorry.
Haman. We're going to have to hang you.
Haman.
I feel so bad.
Sorry. Does anyone have a tree? Is there a tree?
Oh.
Can we hang Haman somewhere?
This is
Excuse me,
embarrassing. The egg
Wow,
on
Haman, I just
my
don't
face,
know.
too.
I'm so sorry, Haman. I just don't know what to
Can
say.
you get him and his sons out of here? We might have to hang them. I feel horrible
I mean,
about this.
Esther,
Wow.
well, let's ask Esther what she wants to do.
whew.
Esther's saying she wants Haman hung, and his 10 sons also. Wow, I mean, we've never had a turnabout of
I
events.
can't
like
imagine in a major program like this making this kind of mistake.
Unprecedented.
I'm embarrassed.
I mean, like Haman, Esther, the envelopes. I mean, it's unprecedented. It's never happened.
Humiliating.
In history.
We might not be able to come back
It
next
has
year.
never happened.
Oh.
Such a turnabout. So unpredicted.
I mean, look, could this ever happen in today's award ceremony?
I mean, it was a done deal. It was absolutely done. And yet, everything turned
I
around.
feel like I'm in La La Land. Oh, this is
Wow.
wow.
This is crazy. Everything turned around, and Haman is now going to be hung. He was the winner, and now he gets hung.
Wow.
And the Jews are still around. That is
for
unbelievable.
pulling this out right at the end. This is
Unbelievable. But you know, I'll tell you one thing. Everyone's going to remember this one
I think so.
forever. This one will
tell
one.
this story now every year.
No one's going to forget this one.
Yes.
You know, there's one thing like if you're a winner and like you pile on the points and you
Right.
you win running away, okay, you know, everyone turns off in like middle of the game.
Right.
But when it turns around like that at the last second,
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Woo!
wow.
We pulled another one.
Esther, man, how did you? This is, I mean, was this a setup?
It almost sounds like
It seems like this is a setup. This must be rigged.
No,
I can't
please.
believe it. They're playing with us. This is unbelievable. Haman is there. He's won. It's all in his hands.
The Jews are gone. Even
Comeback.
the Jews.
This is a
The
comeback.
Jews. I mean, we had people on the sidelines. They were interviewing the Jews. The Jews were like, they thought
They were dead.
I mean, John Kerry, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, they were cheering because the thing was over.
They thought, the Jews thought they were dead, and here it is. They win. Unbelievable.
So tell what's how did this happen? Besides the amazing mistake that happened here, how did the Jews win this stuff?
Well, all I can say is that,
You're not going to say this has something to do with God, are you?
well,
Here we go.
you know, here it is. Here it is, you know.
Let me just hit play. Go ahead.
Does that also mean that God is a Clemson fan
That's
and a
right.
Patriots fan? Also, does that, I don't know, is all this...
Is this going to happen every
Have we
show?
found-
Are
have
we
we-
talking about this every show
Have
this
we
year?
found out who's God playing for? You know, the truth is that what it really tells you is that you can't ever count anyone out. And even though they're behind, and even though it looks like they're losing, but the Jewish people, it has been prophesied, they're big come from behind people. That is the nature of the whole story. And you know what? If it wasn't that they were come from behind people, it really wouldn't be all that exciting.
So we're like the Rockies. We're Rocky is what we are.
We are absolutely outclassed,
Right.
outmanned.
Right.
You know, we've been kicked around. We're bleeding and bruised and bloody. It's horrible, and yet we make this big comeback. That Purim story and this whole comeback is really the essence of the people, and that's why no Jew should ever write himself out or his people out of the story. And that's why the truth is the whole world would be well served if they paid a little attention, because Jews have a tendency to make big comebacks.
Well, that's the real question. I think the real question here is, then what's up? Like the story you just told was a great story, but it's kind of happening again today. And do people expect different results? It's like that insanity thing.
Right.
We got another Iranian guy. The Iranians out there. We're going to kill the Jews. They go to the powers that be. Hey, can you help us build this bomb? Sure, we'll give you the money. We'll build the bomb. And they expect it's all going to work out again.
Right. They never give up. Never give up.
So they're expecting again the Jews are going to get wiped out. And then what's probably going to happen is that powers that be are getting in trouble. They're going to get in trouble, and the Jews are going to win, and everybody else is going to have a problem.
So, you know, the fact that people make that mistake, the people out there in the world, okay, I understand. But the main thing is that the Jews themselves have to be believers, no matter how far you're down, no matter how behind you are. The Jews have to believe that they are the comeback team.
Wow.
Matter of fact, the Jews have been compared to the moon. They compare the Jews to the moon. Why the moon? Well, the moon is really interesting because, you know, the moon's really big, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then one day, it's not even there.
Right?
But then all of a sudden, boom!
There it goes again.
Comes back again and gets really, really, really big again. So the moon, you know, waxes and wanes. And the Jewish people have to learn that lesson, that you never give up and you don't feel like you're down. You don't want to bail out, because if you're on the winning team, you know, can you imagine, like you have the fair weather fan, and he's, you know, going for one team,
Right.
and then the other team racks up a whole bunch of points. Oh, I was rooting for them the whole time.
I know a lot of those people.
Right, and they switch sides. And, oh yeah, I was rooting for them. I'll pick them all along, and they're all into it. And then all of a sudden, the other team makes a comeback. Well, now you really were caught flat-footed, because then how do you flip-flop again? You know.
You do what you got to do. But
Yeah, I got
It
it.
kind of reminds me like a story, and I guess we can look at this why this story keeps repeating itself.
Yeah.
Obviously, when I see something repeat itself, I think, okay, someone's not learning a lesson here.
Right.
Now, is it the Iranian guy? Maybe. Is it the guy that's helping them, the Western world that's helping them? Maybe. Maybe as you said, maybe it's the Jews that just don't see.
I think I always put the burden on the Jews. The one thing that we know, the last book in the Bible,
right,
is the Purim story. It's called Megillah Esther, the scroll of Esther, the story of Esther, and it's the last story in the Bible. Chronologically, it's the last story told. And that story is, as a matter of fact, they had already canonized the Bible. And the rabbis at the time, Mordechai and Esther, like they had to sort of politic to get it included. Right. And the reason that they said is because it's the prototype story of the Jewish future here forward, which means that there's going to be a lot of dark moments for the Jews, but a lot of glorious comebacks.
And you might not see, I guess, with the story, you might not see the sea splitting, and you might not see the skies opening up and things like that, and the burning bush, but you know what? Still God.
If you ask anyone, which would you rather have? Would you rather win, from beginning to end, or would you rather have a miraculous comeback?
Well, I think, to stay in the vein of the movies here that we are, I think that's why every movie that's ever been written has really been written about the Jews. This is my theory. Think about it. Would we watch Rocky if Rocky came out and he was beating everybody up and he wins again? Would we watch the Natural or the movie where the guy, and if you notice, even in the James Bond movies, James Bond never gets in a one-on-one fight and wins the fight. Look, I just beat him up. No, there's 10 guys, or there's a big guy right here with a hat that he cuts somebody's head off with. It's always the guy that the comebacks. I think every movie, not just were they written by Jews and produced by Jews and directed by Jews, I think they're about Jews.
Well, they say it ain't over till it's over.
Right.
Right? So sometimes, even after it's over, it ain't over. Right? Even after it's all done, then they could, and it was for sure done, and they had the whole thing was in place, everything was there, and it seemed over, but even then it wasn't over.
That's I think the Jews are pretty good comeback kids there.
That's right.
I'm really
impressed that's exciting. And you know why? Because when it's a comeback like that, it shows you that it's not just the way it looks. It's not just the way it looks. If you're winning all the way, it looks like you're powerful, you're better and stronger and all that. Okay. But when someone makes the comeback, it shows that there's something special there. There's some extra little grit or determination or the hidden hand of something more powerful enabling that to happen. And as a matter of fact, when you see those comebacks, there's always something that comes across that was like ridiculous. Right, some fluke thing happens, or sometimes a whole string of like fluke things that everything just had to happen exactly. If any one of them was missing, if any one of a whole bunch of string of things was missing, the outcome would have been totally different.
Absolutely.
But there you go. Read the Purim story. A whole string of events, one after everything had to be just in place.
Well, then why? Absolutely. Then why don't we get it? And that's the real question, because we really don't. The Purim story, as I said, if you would have brought this up, I said, okay, all right, Rabbi, I've seen the story. We just talked about it last week, but when we were talking about a nuclear weapon in Iran, it's the same story over and over and over. When do we get it? When is it a time when the Jews, forget about everything else for a second, when the Jews say, you know what, I get it, we're going to win, and maybe I need to get on the right team.
I don't know when it happens, really, but it would seem to me that if anyone should be getting it, it would be the Jews that are living today. Especially, I just met with a group of people that just came back from Israel, and what's going on, is really unprecedented. And we cannot imagine how startling the whole existence of a state in Israel, Jews, and building. I was just talking to someone about the train that they have that goes across Jerusalem, and the various different things that are going on there, and it's amazing. And yet we're not really realizing how amazing that is. That is the comeback.
70-year-old country that is literally, as if it was Paris, France, as it was Italy, as it was thousands of years old. This is literally a 70-year-old country.
Yeah, it's just amazing. We don't. Because we're seeing it, I think we just, for some reason, don't appreciate what's actually happening. Because miracles are going on before our very eyes.
Well, they are, and I think when you realize they're miracles, then you realize what's really going on. And it's interesting. So, I mean, we are living in some interesting times. Maybe this is when we get it. I don't know.
So all I can say to every Jew is, come on, stop and think about this a little bit. Is this really make sense? Or is this really, really, like, out of the box, totally unheard of? And if so, like, don't you want to, like, get in on it?
Wow.
That's what I say.
So, the winner really is.
The winner really is the Jews. Haman loses.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
I suspect that in Hollywood.
Yeah. Even after it's over, it ain't over.
It ain't over. Wow. All right. Well, I think we've had a great lesson in a lot of things today.
Okay.
This is a good one. All right.
Thanks to all of our friends in Hollywood.
Yes. Thanks a lot. See you next week.